Hello, welcome to KnitCheek. I am Natalie. I am the cheek behind KnitCheek. If you are watching this, why would you not be watching this? Like, you clicked on it. This is good. This is going good. I guess this is my first episode, so I'm just going to introduce myself. My name is Natalie. I live in Southern California with Mr. Cheek and our 2 cats and a dog. I don't have any kids. I am 34. I live in a region where it's pretty warm, but we work in the mountains, so I'm in the mountains a lot. And not that I need to justify like being a knitter, but it does get cold. It's cold now, and it's very cold in the mountains. So a little brief history of where I come from. I have been knitting for like over 10 years, but I have just recently gotten into knitting more. I only learned how to read a pattern like 6 years ago, and I was kind of like a knit here, knit there type of person. It's only been recently that I've been like always having something to knit. And the reason why I'm making a knitting podcast is because I would like to make some friends that knit. I don't have any friends that knit or crochet or spin or do any of that crafty thing that is such a big part of my life. So I would love to meet other people who do those things. I know some people at the yarn store locally to me, but I'm looking to meet people in the same age range as me. Not to be ageist, but it'd be cool to talk to someone who's like in the same season of life who does what I do, which seem like to normal people, non-knitters, as a weird thing for someone in their 30s to be doing is knitting. So yeah, here I am throwing myself out there. This is not something I ever thought I would be doing because it's uncomfortable to me. It's out of my comfort zone. This is me saying the same thing twice. I'm pretty shy. I would never post anything like this for any other reason other than I'm really into knitting and I want to meet other people who knit, and have been very unsuccessful so far because I go places and I see people knitting and I'm like, well, I'm not going to say hi. So I don't know how I'm expecting that I would make friends. So this is an easier way of let me throw myself out there and you tell me if you want to be my friend. So this is a what I knit in 2023 video. Sorry, I just got bangs like this year, but they grew out and now I feel like they're like at a very snapey length. So I don't know. They're kind of annoying me. So yeah, this is a 2023 what I knit in a year. I just like I was saying earlier, I'm not a huge output knitter. I don't knit a lot of garments and like overproducing them. I'm someone who kind of like feels guilty about knitting during the day. It's something I do is like a decompressing, like relaxing thing at night, or passively in a situation like driving, not me driving, but someone else driving. And only recently have I started doing that because I used to get car sick on the train the 2 times I rode the train this year. But yeah, so I don't have a huge stack. I know a lot of people make these videos, and I kind of felt like, oh, why would I make that video when what I knit in a year feels like maybe what some of these podcasters knit in like a week. But I'm just gonna make it anyways. So I knit 16 projects this year, and I didn't knit one sweater. There's no sweaters. Okay, so I knit 16 projects, and I have 2 failed projects, which were both cardigans. But so I'm not somebody who knits like 15 sweaters a year. I'm gonna pull out a big stack of 15 sweaters. I'll show you my little stack here, but it's pretty manageable. It's pretty. Let's leave in those ends. I do have some gift knits that I don't have as well. But so I knit 16 projects, 2 failed projects. So I don't think I need to come on here and tell you like don't feel bad if you didn't knit as much as I did, because it's really not that much. But if you did knit less than me and you're looking at everything I knit and you're like, wow, she knit a lot, like just don't judge yourself on the internet. It's horrible. Don't do that. It's similar to, I read a lot, I read a ton because I'm someone who loves to multitask and I can't do anything without an audiobook. So I read something like, I want to say like 70 books last year, but 90% of them are audiobooks. So it's sometimes people hear that number or know me and follow my Goodreads and they're like comparing what they read in a year to what I read in a year. And it's like, don't compare yourself to me or anyone else about how much you read or feel guilty about it, because it's mostly audiobooks. And not that I need to justify that, but everyone's different, and you know, you don't need to be going on the internet and watching what other people are doing if it's going to stress you out. So that's my little disclaimer, only because I've seen other people do it and I'm a copycat. So yeah, I'm drinking my this is milk kefir and mango juice and orange juice. I try to drink and eat probiotic foods every day for my gut health. So I won't bore you guys with that, but that's what I'm drinking. It's not tea or coffee or something normal. All right, so let's get started. That was annoying. So my first project that I knit are these cutie little mitts. These are Hiedra Mitts by Fiber Tales, and she's on YouTube too. She has a podcast. She's very sweet, and I love her podcast. She's from Denmark, and I knit these in Sweet George's yarn. It is a superwash DK. I don't remember the name of the colorway. I want to say it's like cobblestone or something. This was a leftover skein of a project that got stolen out of my car. My car was broken into, and they stole a project bag, and it had Across the Pond Cow and Across the Pond Cow from Andrea Mallory, and this was one of the colors. So, or one of the leftover skeins. I didn't knit these two at a time. I knit them two separate times, and I somehow knit two different sizes because I didn't take notes. So yeah, that's what happens when you don't take notes. I don't think anyone would be able to notice that, but can I feel it a little bit? But it's not, you know, determining. Do I get a lot of wear of these? Yeah, I do. I kind of want to, when I move forward knitting, you can see kind of some color pooling in the yarn within the ribbing. Moving forward, I think I would either just do like just a cuff or a mitten, because I don't really use this little attractive flapping. I don't really use that much. I do, but I don't know. I don't like having to, what is it, like finesse with them. But I do really think the pattern on it and her technique for this this braid is beautiful. Sorry, I'm shaking the table. Also, sorry, I live on a very busy street and I'm filming this in the middle of the day. It's like 2:30. No, it's earlier than that. It's 1:30 because I'm hoping there's going to be less people on the road, but if you hear cars, I don't know how to combat that except to talk louder. Okay, so these I cast on March 3rd. I finished them around June 5th. I'm not crazy about this yarn. I kind of have fallen out of love with superwash for a couple of reasons. And this was just an old skein, but I do like them for this because I do think I would wash these because you know, with or not wash in the washing machine, but it would just be easier to wash these as superwash, but I wouldn't buy this yarn again. My next project is the biggest project I've knit all year, which is the Inclinations Shawl by Andrea Mallory. And this is pretty cool. This is knit out of 3 skeins of Spin Cycle and 3 skeins of, actually I think I bought a 4th skein. I did, of Earth Yarns worsted weight. And what do I want to say about this? I bought the Spin Cycle actually on a road trip, either last year or the year before that. So I actually went to this big spin cycle, brick and mortar, and picked out 6 skeins of yarn of the marled dyed in the wool yarn, and then kind of sat on it for a while and realized that I didn't want to knit the entire thing out of spin cycle because it would look too muddy. Like you would lose the, I don't know, I was looking at the samples, and although I love the way that it looks, it wasn't my style. So I ended up striping it every other row with the spin cycle and that earth yarn, the worsted weight yarn. I did not like the worsted weight earth yarn. I liked the finished product, but I didn't like working with it. It was like 8 ply. I don't know what it was, but it's so many little splitty. It's super soft though. And I ended up doing 1 skein of Wololo and 2 skeins of Downing to Earth is what I did. And I really like the way that the color combo turned out. I wear this all the time. I started knitting this March 19th on a flight to Hawaii, and I finished it July 7th. And this was a really enjoyable knit. I loved knitting it. It was easy, but engaging enough. I could take it anywhere. It creates this really squishy, delicious half fisherman's rib, easy to memorize pattern. So I can't say enough good things about this. The only thing I didn't like was the earth yarn. And even then I like it in the end product, but just don't really like working with it. So that's done. This year I taught myself, that's not true, I didn't. I watched Toni Lipsy's Crochet Academy, all her videos and emails that she sends out. I think she does it once a year. You subscribe, and it's kind of like a teach yourself how to crochet. And I did that, and I knit the Tobago Bag, which I don't have because I gifted it. Yeah, and so I did a couple like swatches, taught myself how to crochet, and then I did this bag. I knit that in Lions brand 24/7 cotton, and I loved it. It was great. I did it just like the sample, and when I finished it, I was like, why did I do it just like the sample? The colors are so Scooby-Doo. I did not like them. So I gifted it to my niece who loved it. So I want to make another one though, like an all white one or like an all green one. I would like to make it out of unmercerized cotton, so maybe a different cotton, but yeah. So then after that, I actually took a crochet class at my local yarn store. It was called like My First Crochet Top. This tank, it is the Sea Breeze tank. And yeah, so I did this in a class, and actually the class included how to modify crochet patterns. And so we modified the back to have a different back than front. The original pattern is the same front and back. But this is, I like it a lot better because I feel like it keeps it in, I'll show you with another tank. I feel like it keeps it in place. Like it doesn't move around as much with that back. And it's reversible. Like you get 2 different tanks. So I love this. I knit this in Barocco Pima cotton cream color from the local yarn store. To me, I got a ton of wear out of this. It was super quick, and I think I knit it in 2 skeins, but I used every last bit of yarn. I would definitely love to make this again in some more colors. So there's that. So next up, I have another tank. One of my goals this year was to learn how to do some lace knitting, and I did it. This is the Leaf Tank by Maylene Renert. And I knit this in Circulo yarns in the almond color. It's like a sugarcane yarn. I really love the way the yarn looks. I think it may have been a little bit too drapey for this project. I love this top. The fit is very finicky. Like it's always wanting to just bloop, flash everyone. Well, you know, bloop. So that I don't love about it. I feel like whenever I wear it, I'm kind of like uncomfortable that I'm going to be exposed, you know, even though I wear this with a cream colored bralette. Yeah, and would obviously not wear this without a bra, but like I'm always afraid it's gonna look stupid. Anyways, the buttons are from a button tin that came from my grandma's house, and I dug through it and I found the most matching buttons I could that were wood, and I really like this project. I don't get as much wear out of it as the other one just because I feel like it moves around, but if I can somehow figure out I don't know how I do that, honestly, and I don't know what I would change in the pattern. I'm not knowledgeable enough to modify something lacy, but maybe thicker straps. I kind of really loved in the Tobago bag, she taught us how to do Tunisian crochet for the strap. And I kind of was like, I love that. I want to do that on tanks because it would give you more like surface area for things to hold on to. So that's that tank. Next, I have the Tip Top tank. And I think I forgot to tell you guys the dates that I've been doing everything else, but it really doesn't matter. The Tip Top tank I named around, not TikTok tank, the Tip Top tank Fine edition by Emily Boldon. And I knit this in Sammy Amano cotton yarn. And I have not blocked this or weaved in the ends because I finished it like, I want to say October, and it was like too cold already to wear, and I just couldn't be bothered. I was like, I want to move on to knitting some wool. So, but it's cotton, so I don't expect it to change too much, and I really like the fit. I just gotta do those two little things, block and weave. So this yarn is incredibly soft, softer than the Pima cotton, and that's why I picked it. The color selection at the yarn store, my local yarn store, wasn't like crazy great. Like it was just a couple of colors because I think I would have, this isn't my favorite color, but it was my favorite of the colors that they had there. So that is the Tip Top Tank Fine. And there's two versions of it, like a fine and a not fine. I don't remember what the other one was called, but I knit the fine, even though my yarn, I think it was supposed to be like a sport or a DK, but I couldn't get gauge. So I ended up knitting the smaller one, and I'm very, very happy with it. I frogged this once because I didn't count my stitches right, and I had 10 more stitches in the front and the back, and I couldn't live with it. So I think I like got up to here and then frogged it and then redid it. And I don't mind frogging items because I love knitting. So, okay, my last item that I have here is part of the Christmas knit. So for Christmas, I knit 9 Christmas gifts, one crochet. So I knit 8 and I crocheted 1 gift. I knit 6 Oslo hats, and I knit 1 in the Sweet Georgia DK yarn. I knit 1 in the Knitting for Olive, 1 in the Knitting for Olive heavy, and then I knit 4 of them in Retro Saria's Mondim, which I'm so glad I knit 4 of that because it was my favorite one. But they are all black, and I think that these came out really cool. So I knit 4 of these for 4 dudes in my life. Sorry, I have cats and this is black, and like I can lint roll this all day and there's still gonna be hair on it. This is my boyfriend's Mr. Cheeks. That's why I have it here to show for you guys. But I'm sure everyone knows what the Oslo hat is. It's phenomenal. It's a great on the go, have on your needles project because it's all stockinette. And I'm not like a huge sock knitter, I would like to be, but I'm not. So I feel like this is something that could be like a always have on your needles type of project for when you just need simple stockinette, something small. And yeah, so I mean, great hat. I don't personally like this hat. Like when I wear it, I prefer a ribbed hat, but it's a great gift knitting hat, and everyone I made it for liked it. So maybe it's just because I knit so many of them. Like you ever do something so many times, you just don't like, I don't know. Anyways, I also knit 2 plump hats. I don't remember the name of the designer who did that, but that is the pattern that came out for Spin Cycle's plump yarn. So I knit 2 plump hats in really old alpaca yarn that I don't know where it came from. I don't know where it was, but I found it and I was like, I'm gonna knit 2 quick hats for Christmas. I did not like either of them. It had nothing to do with the pattern. It was the yarn. The yarn was way too drapey. I knit one and I was like, this is huge. So I knit the second one in the smaller size and it came out the same size. So yeah, I gave one to my neighbor for Christmas and then one to my mother-in-law, and they're not great. I'm not proud of those. They're just whatever. And then lastly, I crocheted the Terra produce bag. And I knit that with leftover of my cotton 24/7 from the Tony bag. And this is like a little produce bag. And I loved it. And I actually wanted to crochet more, but that was the last of the yarn that I had. Otherwise I would have made more for gifts. And this was like last minute Christmas gifting. So I also learned how to spin this year, which I know a lot of people are are starting to, oh man, I know a lot of people are discovering spinning, and I'm jumping on that bandwagon, but I actually always wanted to learn how to spin. So this was the year I told myself, this was the year I told myself that I was going to learn how to spin, and I was going to buy myself a wheel if I could find one for less than $200. Just because it's, spinning wheels are a lot of money, and I would love to buy a really nice one, but I was like, I need to make sure I like it first. Same with my roller skates. When I got into roller skating, I bought cheaper roller skates, loved it, and then I got the Moxies. So yeah, I bought it. I found a spinning wheel for less than $200 on Facebook Marketplace. And then I reached out to my local spinning guild, their Facebook page, and asked if anyone could give me a lesson. And someone gave me a lesson, didn't charge me. She was so sweet, and she made me feel so good about it. She's like, you're getting it. You're so good. Like, background, I took a drop spindle class before this and hated it. And I was like, oh man, maybe I don't like spinning. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like the spinning class I took, some people have told me that Ashford drop spindles aren't that great for beginners, and that's what I started on. So I don't know if maybe a lighter spindle would have made that better, but I really didn't like it. I'm not really interested in learning how to drop spindle unless I get really into spinning and then like want to go backwards. But I love spinning on the spinning wheel. I have spun a couple of hanks, nothing worth knitting with, nothing. So, but I'm doing it, and I'm going to keep doing it. I kind of have a weird setup with the yarn room. I'm kind of transitioning from one room to another. We rescue and foster animals a lot, and the room that is dedicated for that used to be my yarn room, and I'm like, this is not working. So, but right now we have a cat in there, and I had to like put the mattress in the closet to keep the cat off the mattress. She wasn't housebroken. And so now I can't get to the fiber that I bought to learn like how to spin. So I need to go get more fiber, but I'm not trying to spend a lot of money because I'm still just learning. So I might just go buy more of the Ashford Corriedale stuff that they sell at my local yarn store. So lastly, I have 2 failed projects that I started this year. January 31st, I finished the body of the Stria Cardigan by Andrea Mowry. I have that. I can't get it because it's also in that closet that I was just talking about. So this is the second time I failed at this project. I knit this, I'm going to say 2021 during the Friends Instagram Cal. I started it this is before I really understood gauge. So I thought I got gauge and I sized down 2 needle sizes. So I was knitting on a size 0 needle, and I think I was too focused on the stitches per inch instead of like just the whole swatch, the 4 inches, which if you're struggling with gauge, dude, knit the 4 inches, measure the 4 inches. Don't focus on that 1 inch, because I feel like it's not as easy to read that gauge. So anyways, I went down 2 needle sizes, knit 2 where you split for seams, tried it on, I was like, this is too small. And I seam blocked it. And then I ripped it out. And then this year I was like, so New Year's resolution is to finish this cardigan. So like January 1st, I recast it on. I did the entire body by January 31st. I block it, wet block it, because I want to make sure this fits. I try it on and it's still too small. So when I ripped it out the first time, I went up, I want to say a size or two. I think just one size. I went up one size. And it was still too small. Like, I feel like I could finish it and I could wear it. Like, it would be a cardigan, like it would fit. But it's not what I would want it to fit like. And my boyfriend's like, you should just finish it. You're almost there. I'm like, yeah, but I wouldn't wear it. So I would really like to rip it out and knit the bigger size with the original needle size that it was called for, because I regauged, and lo and behold, that was the gauge, was with the size 2 needles. So I would like to reknit this. This I knit in earth, that same earth yarn that I talked about earlier, the worsted weight, but this is the fingering weight, which is way easier to work with, but not great to frog. So yeah, I need to do that. And then my second failed project of the year was my third crochet project, where I was determined I was going to make a crochet granny square sweater, and that is the Ariana Cardigan. And I ordered knitting for olive yarn, and I crocheted a swatch. I had to go up a crazy amount of crochet hooks to get what I thought was the gauge. It was like 5 inches. It's a free pattern. It's 5 inches per granny square, and I was measuring it across. And that's why it was taking such a large needle to get that gauge. Then I go to the SoCal Fiber Festival, and I see one of the cardigans at, I think it's called Boku Yarns booths, and then I was like, how these crochet granny squares are so much smaller than mine. So I asked the owner, and I was like, what am I missing? And she said, the gauge you're supposed to measure on a granny square is diagonally. And she's like, it says it in the pattern, but it's easy to miss. And I was like, there's no way I missed that. And I go back in the pattern. Have you ever seen those TikToks of like wives telling their husbands, like, the ketchup is in the fridge behind the thing? And the husband goes, he can't find it. And then the wife goes, and it's there. Like, I went back and I read it, and it was right there across the granny square. So I knit like 12 of these at a way too big gauge. And I knew that when I was making them, I was like, these are too big. Like, they don't look good. This is not what I was expecting in the sweater. And I was looking at other people's projects, and I was like, this doesn't look like that. So I don't know why I crocheted so many of them, but I'm hoping I still have enough yarn to do all 42 granny squares. I think it's 42, without ripping out the original 12 that I did, and then make like a pillow out of that. I don't know, but I would really like to finish that. But also, I don't love crocheting granny squares multiple colors. I think if I'm gonna crochet, it's just gonna be single color from here on out. But well, there you have it. This is my first episode of KnitCheek, and I have some ideas for some other episodes. Like I said, I don't really knit. Like, I feel like I don't knit that much comparatively to other podcasters, but who knows? I don't know. I don't know if I'll make another one of these or if I'll keep doing this. But if you want to be friends, subscribe, send me a message, follow me on Instagram. I'm also KnitCheek on there. I also have another one for roller skating called SkateCheek. But yeah, it was great to sit down and talk to you.